Good afternoon. My name is Raul Labrador. I'm a state representative from District 14. I represent Eagle Star, Northwest Boise, and North Meridian, and I'm running for Congress, and I hope to get your vote. I have been in the legislature for 3 years, but I'm not a career politician. In fact, I'm far from it. Everything that I have done in the state legislature has been important because it's been to fight for the values that you are fighting here in this room. I have been fighting for lower taxes, for less government, for more personal responsibility. And I can tell you, I could give you a great speech here and tell you a lot of things about how I'm going to go to Congress and I'm going to change the way things are happening in Congress. But I can tell you about the things that I have done because every one of you have heard speeches from politicians. Every one of you have heard promises from politicians. And most of them leave you feeling leaving like less, leaving like you don't understand the things that they're saying. You're upset because they're not following through on their promises. And there was a simple promise that I made to my constituents in District 14. And that promise that I made to them was that I was going to fight for lower taxes. And what did I do when I was in the state legislature? When the governor came to us with a proposal for fighting for higher taxes, for a gas tax, I told the governor that I could not support him. But I also told him that I would help him with his transportation funding, and I would look for ways that we could maybe look for more money for transportation. And I gave several proposals that would be helpful to the governor, and those proposals were rejected. So when we were in the legislature and those proposals were rejected, we fought and fought and fought for the people of Idaho. We had different people who were fighting for this gas tax. We had the special interests. We had different people who wanted to raise your taxes. And we fought in the House of Representatives, and we didn't reject the gas tax once. We didn't reject it twice. We didn't reject it 3 times. We rejected it 5 or 6 times in the legislature. And we did the things that we promised our constituents that we were going to do. So I can sit here and tell you that I will follow through on my promises, but you know that I'm the kind of person that will follow through on my promises because I do the things that I promise my constituents that I'm going to do. Let me give you a little background about myself. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I moved to the States when I was 13. I was a very, very fortunate boy because I was raised by a wonderful mother. She was a single mom. I was an only child. And she taught me several things as I was growing up. She said that the only way I was going to be able to be successful in life was by getting a good education. She said that the only way I was going to be successful in life was by working hard and playing by the rules. She told me those things, but not only did she tell me those things, she showed me those things in her own life. What she did, for example, when I was a very young man, she decided to put me in a private school because she didn't trust that the schools in Puerto Rico were good enough for her son. But because we didn't have any money, what she had to do was she had to go without. She had to do without in her life. She couldn't buy all the clothes that she wanted. She couldn't buy all the makeup that she wanted. She couldn't buy the latest cars because she thought that that was important. So I ended up going to private school for 8 years in Puerto Rico. Then we moved to the States, and she did put me in a public school here, but by then I had the basis and the background that I needed to have a good education and to perform well in the schools. I ended up going to college. And in college, I met my beautiful wife, Becca, who is a native Idahoan. She's a 4th-generation Idahoan, and 4 out of our 5 children have been born here in Idaho. Here in Idaho, we have paid taxes, we have employed people, we have done the things that we need to do to help Idaho become a stronger person. But the reason you should vote for me is because I have been one of you. 14 years ago when I moved to Idaho, the first thing that I did is I worked for the U.S. courts. Now, as working for the U.S. courts, I could not participate in political office, or I could not participate in politics at all. So for about 1.5 years, I did not participate in the Republican Party. But as soon as I quit my job in the U.S. courts, I went to the Republican Party and I asked, how can I help? And the only thing that was available in my area was an alternate precinct committee man. So I became an alternate precinct committee man, and I did the work that I was asked to do. I was there stuffing envelopes. I was there doing the things that each and every one of you has done to get candidates elected. Then I became a youth committee man. Then I became a vice chairman in my district, and then I became a chairman in my district, in District 14. And then after many people asked me to run for office for many years, I decided that I would run for office, and I ran for the state legislature. And I went to the state legislature to fight for the same principles that I had been advocating my whole life. And so I can promise to you that when I go to Congress, I will fight for the principles that I stand on. I will fight for the principles that are important to you. And I will do the things that I promise that I will do for you, because I have done that for the last 3 years in the state legislature. And I will fight for the individual, because the problem in Washington, D.C. is that everyone is fighting for the special interest groups. Even Republicans are guilty of fighting for the special interest groups. I will fight for individuals, because government is not about special interests. It is not about the rich. It is not about the powerful. And all of you are scared. We are all scared about what's happening in America. But we need to not despair at this time. We can work together, and we can work hard, and we can make sure that we change things that are happening in society. Sir Winston Churchill, one of the great heroes of the World War II generation, he wrote this after the war, and it's something that I believe in, and it's something that we can do together. He says, you may have to fight when there is no hope of victory, because it is better to perish than to live as slaves. We must fight for freedom and liberty now. This is the time to go back to Washington and to change the way things are being done and to do things for the individual. Thank you very much.